Hey, can I ask you a question, man? Because I would love to get into like your special a little bit, or because it's along these lines. You know, you do a lot of kind of racial humor, and I always like to get the Singaporeans. I'm not gonna sit here and fucking talk about what race shit here because I don't know anything about it, and my country has its own fucking problems to deal with and all that kind of stuff. But I'm curious because like you do some racial humor, and I think it's great. I think you hit a really good balance. I think it's controversial for Singapore standards, but still within the realm of. Do you feel like, for example, if Singapore started to shift one way or the other, like that what you say would be taboo? Do you feel like Singapore, I mean, I'll give you an example. On this podcast, I mean, I really don't edit anything. Like, we just say what we say. I put it out. I mean, I'm not fucking famous enough to maybe rub the wrong people a certain way, but I just kind of release it unfiltered. And I feel like there's a part of Singapore that craves that.
Of course.
So when you say shit and you're special about like pot and alcohol and different races and kind of making fun of it, that's quite controversial for Singapore, but you're still pushing the boundaries in kind of a safe zone. So I'm wondering, like, do you think it's going to go more into a direction of free speech? Because you're if you test the boundaries a little bit, you can push a little bit further, or do you feel like you're going to get like a counter push based on the current climate?
I think a counter push is inevitable. You know, a counter push is inevitable. It will happen. But when I'm also not naive enough to think that we will get complete freedom of speech in Singapore. What I am really trying to do is trying my best to mirror what the current climate of like the average Singaporean perspective is. Okay, at least the ones that are within my circle. I believe that a lot of the shows or the media that we consume over the years in Singapore is very filtered and it's very clean cut and it's very PG and family friendly, which is great, I guess. You know, to a certain extent, if you don't want to pollute. If you're in fear of polluting, you know, the clean image that we have. But at the same time, I think in order for us to move forward, we need to understand that there is this other side of Singapore that we need to address. We can't just sweep everything under the rug. And it's a very Singaporean thing to do too. If you have an issue, you just sweep it under the rug. Oh, we don't talk about this. Or we don't address this. Or is this something that we are troubling? Or ban it. Or, you know, we should ban it. You know, we should clamp it down. We should ban it. We should clamp it down. Instead of trying to understand it to I don't know if the objective of the people in charge are to further, you know, educate the people in terms of like social issues or things. I don't know if that's their priority in Singapore, because it's all about being productive. It's all about the economy, you know. It's all about where do we stand, you know, in terms of like in the eyes of the world. You know, it's about being efficient, you know, but not a lot of these issues that have to do with like social awareness, you know, or maybe even racism. All these topics that people don't want to touch generally get swept under the rug with a lot of the mass mainstream media. So I come in there to give people a little bit of an alternative, to give a real voice. And I've never liked being on that kind of like, hey guys, like I was just at a shoot I think a couple of days ago, and they were like, okay, Fuzz, so the scene is, you know, somebody's telling your joke and you're mad that they took your joke, so you gotta be mad. And I acted mad, and they were like, oh no, we want you to get madder. And I was like, that's as mad as I would get.
Like unrealistically mad?
Yeah, I said I wouldn't get madder than that if somebody took my joke. And they were like, yeah, but it's for so they said it's for TV, you need to amp it up. So that's where the perspective of like, oh, okay, everything on TV isn't as real as it looks. It's amplified, right? So I want the option of the reality aspect of things to be available for people to consume, other than this whole fabricated image of, you know, of what Singapore is being fed to them. I think it's good that we have that reality option, and I hope it will still continue. Podcasts like these,
I was just gonna say.
and all that is
new media is I think going to lead the charge here, because you can sit here and talk for an hour and a half unfiltered. We can swear, we can get drunk, we can try to have honest conversations to the best of our ability. And I think, dude, you fit in a really interesting niche, and you could play a really interesting part in Singapore over the next however many years, because you, in the same time that you can do, you can make dick jokes and racist jokes and drug jokes and all that kind of stuff, can work for fucking news. Was it Channel 4 in Singapore?
Channel 5.
Yeah, Channel 5. And I've seen some of your things that you do on there. Like, my wife's parents will watch your show, and you're trying to have interesting things. So you can make dick jokes and racist jokes, but they're jokes. But then you can also go down this other line, and people can see, or you can sit here and do a podcast and talk about fighting, but then we can discuss some, and all of that is okay.
The options should be there. You know what I'm saying? The options should be there. But like, I wouldn't go as far as to like criticize the mass media for what they choose to put out. I'm just saying, if you want to put out, fine. If anybody's gonna consume that, great. But we can't clamp down on the other thing.
Yes, exactly.
You know,
and both things can exist simultaneously.
They can, yeah,
right?
they can. It's a weird perspective that I think Singaporeans have sometimes. It's like, oh, this other thing doesn't go in line with this thing, so we gotta ban this thing. You know, instead of like, why can't these things just exist together?
I know. It's that tribal shit, dude. Everybody's like that. Like, if you're in the U.S., I don't understand why you can't be like, hey, clearly these videos that everybody's seeing are fucked up and we should reform police. Yeah. Also, looting is bad. Rioting is bad. Like, pick every issue. Immigration. Well, we can't let the fucking borders just overrun. It's got to be draw the line somewhere, right? Fucking abortion. Okay, well, if you think about it, it's kind of fucked up. But also, like, maybe women should have the right to choose. Like, you should be able to have conflicted views without fucking digging your heels in so much that you're just going to not listen to the other person.
You should be able to coexist.
And they're your countrymen.
Yeah.
It's like, did you see the video of the statue getting pulled down and then that guy got shot? Or that late?
I've seen a lot of videos of statues being pulled down. There's a lot of statues that are being pulled down right now.
Yeah.
but I don't know about the one that got shot.
Someone pulled one down, and then, the counter protesters pulled out a gun and then shot somebody. And now the whole thing is ridiculous to me, right? It's like, okay, first of all, if you think that those statues shouldn't be pulled down, I hear you. If you think they should be pulled down, I hear you. But there's 150 people there, that shit's coming down. Like, in that moment, you're not stopping it because there's enough people there that, like, and you would decide to shoot your fellow American, your countryman, over a statue?
Yeah, I mean,
like, you would rather harm. Those are your people.
Yeah.
Even if they're on the opposite side of the spectrum, they're your people.
They don't see it that way, though.
I know, because it's like their ideology comes more important than their fellow human.
There's no such thing as like, oh, we're all humans. It's like, oh no, you're not as human as I am because
because you're wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah, exactly.
My team is right. Blue's better than fucking yellow, or blue. Blue's better than red.
Dude, it's just sometimes, man, when you get on Twitter, man, I was just having a conversation with my girlfriend about this yesterday. She's like, I think I got a little bit too far with the Twitter stuff, and I get a bit too stressed with all these. There's so many of these social issues, and I'm over here trying to debate everybody about it. And then she says, she's like, I think you're zooming in on this really, really hard. Like, you need to zoom out, and try to live in the moment, man. And I was like, oh, right, okay.
It's tough not to want to say something, though, when you see this crazy shit going on. It's like, it's a global, for most people, it's just a global outcry for common sense and being able to speak with somebody. Like, you can have conflicting ideologies with another person and not want to shoot them in the face.
I mean, like, that's totally possible. Why wouldn't that be, right? Yeah.
You should be able to. I mean, we've built global civilization up to this point, and then in this weird way, we're like regressing. We're going backward. It's like,
dude, I mean, it will reach a boiling point at some point. It will reach a boiling point where we'll have to. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe this is the tail end of evolution. Maybe we just kill each other.
Right? This is dude. 2020 at the rate it's going.
Yeah. All that's left is just the guys that do
push the mute button, dude.
Yeah, it's just everybody just gets wiped out, and it's like, and I'll be fucking pissed because I've only been a white belt my whole life. I'll be fucking pissed.
It's like, bro. At least let me die with my blue belt.
At least let me die a blue, man. Fucking hell, I'll die a white belt 2-stripe. That shit is bogus.